Alright, welcome to the main event. I'm Sybert, joined here by FISSEN. And spawning as the blue allies in the bottom left side of this best of 7 industrial strength is the first starting map. It's from Team NACL c9q9md.
And in the top right side, we do have from Team TNG as the orange ally, she is Zokker.
Throwing down those walls right at the front. And C9 is not going to be walling off his front, so... Oh no, they're walling off both, so Zokker, he's locking himself in.
Yeah, but at the same time, he places both his racks outside, so he is going to go for that dual racks regardless. I was thinking, oh wow, is he going to go fast airfield right here? I mean, all those garrison would give him trouble, but no. He goes for those 2 racks just in a funny placement.
And I think we've got first blood kind of in the south side there. Zokker does take down the dog of c9q9md. Both of these players have been able to grab themselves oil derricks, though, so that's going to be very good for both of them.
Oh, did that dog just get a peacekeeper too, I think?
Oh, did
he? Yeah, that's a cost-effective dog right there. But C9, however, did only go for 1 racks and into War Factory. Wow, this could be one of those build orders we were hoping to see out of C9 at some point.
Now, I haven't seen an engineer just yet, but sometimes players... Oh, engineer, and where's the IFV? Okay, IFV does come up. Some players like to throw the engineer into the IFV and kind of escort it up to the garage in the middle. Now, it's going to be up to Zokker to kind of react to this. Oh, no, wait a second. What's going on here? I'm not sure. Okay, so the engineer didn't jump inside of the IFV. I made a mistake.
Oh, it just went up to the high ground because he wanted a peacekeeper ASAP inside that IFV. So, but he forgot a PK in the second IFV. No, he only got 1 with peacekeeper inside it. So the second one is basically just taking damage. But with that garage, I mean, those free repairs just mean so much. I mean, it's really powerful here. And he got a single javelin up there taking out the garage.
Yeah, that's a great move there by Zokker. C9, his job is to protect this garage, which is not something he's doing right now. Now, he has been able to do a little bit of damage to the kind of forces of his opponent and clean up a couple of those peacekeepers, but there goes the garage, so there's the early game advantage that C9 was looking for.
Oh, he's going to lose an IFV with a PK for nothing? Oh, wow, that was so close to escaping. And he's working his way inside there, so he's actually going to claim a... Harvester right now, I think.
Oh, is he
Unless
actually...
the Vindicator manages to bomb it.
Wow, yeah, he may get that Harvester. The Vindicator, as you mentioned, it is up in the sky. Oh, I think C9 is just... I don't know if he's just disrupting the pattern of this Prospector or if he was trying to force some splash damage onto that Prospector. But at any rate, he will get the Prospector.
Oh, and he manages to eject that Peacekeeper at the last moment. The Peacekeeper even took damage from that, so that's got to be a close one. But
that is so
wow, Zokker really cleaning up here in the middle. So Zokker, if he's moving in, he's going to do that turret push that we were expecting almost. And C9, what does he have to do here? I mean, he's got nothing to defend himself with except turrets. And he's, of course, got that airfield, so he can build some Vindicators. But that MCV is going to be hard to deal with, especially when the infantry comes in. And he's going to claim C9's oil derrick right now. Or is he? Yeah, he is.
Oh, okay, I was actually looking at the wrong one. Yeah, I got the colors a little bit mixed up there, but Zokker taking down that oil derrick, and yeah, the multi-gunner turret push, as you mentioned, is probably going to be commencing, although he doesn't have anything queued, so he may be waiting for his infantry to show up before he starts really putting on any pressure. A nice bomb splitting from C9. He cleans up 3 of those peacekeepers, and this is something that I haven't really seen before. Normally, you see a different sort of bomb splitting that'll happen, but what I've been seeing lately is where you split off, I mean, it's the same effect, but where C9 will, like, split off 1 bomb per peacekeeper and basically do 2 bombing runs to kind of eliminate 3 peacekeepers at once instead of eliminating 2 in the first run and then 2 in the second run. So it's like, it's the same number of peacekeepers, but it's just different.
But there is a little bit thing to that, because what you could do is also just damage the PKs. Because if you damage just 3 PKs, that's actually better than taking out 1 and damaging 1. Because that means when your PKs moving in, they're going to have an easy time killing all those PKs. And I think that was C9's thoughts there. But really, right now, we see those turrets. That's going to be really hard to deal with, to be honest, because his airfield is really getting cammed. And the focus fire is not happening, so wow. C9 can actually fend this off, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, he was able to get down a multi-gunner turret of his own, which did indeed block off the multi-gunner turret of Zokker, and that was kind of one of the saving graces there for C9. But also...
An engineer getting sniped. And he's got that IFV getting repairs from the airfield, so there's no way for that Rax really to do anything.
This is actually a nice move here because C9 took down the oil derrick of Zokker, but Zokker didn't actually finish off the oil derrick of C9. So he's a little bit ahead in that economic front, but also killing off that engineer just puts him even further ahead. And he's got the 2 Vindicators. I don't think there's any Apollos. No, there's not even an airfield. Zokker sold that off, so Zokker is in a lot of trouble against these Vindicators. There's the sell-off. The engineer gets claimed immediately. The GG comes down.
And
Zokker.
What a game. Wow. That defense out of C9 really surprised me. He really knew what to do in that situation. I mean, that is so hard to deal with, but C9 simply pulled it off. Perfect.
Yeah. That was a very unusual, not a super unusual game. I don't want to say very unusual. That was a slightly unusual game just in the way it sort of played out, but some very key mistakes there in like the last, say, 30 seconds of that game where Zokker, he bet a little bit too much. And I think I don't know what happened because it seems like he would have canceled that engineer a little bit sooner, but he let it finish and then he dropped that. Then, of course, with the Rax getting camped like that, not a whole lot you can do.
No, exactly. I mean, I wouldn't argue that the Rax placement was wrong, but as long as C9 does have that IFV camping, there is no producing any units without losing them instantly, because that IFV PK combo is really powerful.
All right, jumping into game number 2. Who is our player on the left side of Cabana Republic?
It is from Team NACL. He is c9q9md as the blue allies.
And as the Cyan allies on the right side from Team TNG, it's Zokker. The turret allies, but is he going to be doing that? There's the dual racks coming out from both of these players.
Yeah, so it's just a matter of who can gain control of the middle ground. The reason why I wanted to point out the possibility of turret pushing is because you can actually both turret push from the water and from the front line, and you are basically protected by that high ground inside your base, and that means all your units have to travel through either a long distance in the top, or you have to go naval in order to defend against turret pushes. And the expansion sites are so weird, because if you can manage to garrison those at the 3rd expansion site in the water, then it's really, really hard for your opponent to go 3 or 4 ref. And
yeah,
first blood for Zokker, killing a dog.
Manages to clean up that dog. And gets a second one.
Oh, wow. That was awesome.
So Zokker, he's going to be feeling very good about that, but you mentioned this a couple games ago. If anyone doesn't know out there, Peacekeepers one-shot dogs. So dogs have very limited offensive capabilities versus Peacekeepers, or at least directly offensive. They can get some barks off, which can be quite powerful, but dogs, bears, and burst drones are certainly scouting units more than offensive units, and that's what Zokker is going to be using this primarily for. Now, it is going to be the... we might have a glitched refinery harvester. Okay, C9, one of his harvesters, it looked like it was glitched for a moment there. Oh, I think it is a little bit bugged.
Yeah,
that's
it is.
Unfortunate.
It's doing the dancing, and that's really annoying, because that costs gold for no reason but a glitch. Yeah, but it's only a slight glitch, so it's not terrible. It's not stopped or anything, so...
Yeah, and I mean, it's one of those things that it's like, it's a slight disadvantage, and maybe it makes a difference. It probably won't, but maybe it will. But Peacekeeper Wars in the middle of the map. It looks like Zokker has gained 2 of the buildings. He is going to be losing control of one of them potentially. Waff the Wolf is not in this game, but C9 is in this game, and he was not able to clear out that building. And now these players are just shooting up the buildings of their opponent. And the dog does scout the airfield for C9, but C9 is going to get eyes on the airfield of Zokker as well.
Yeah, so it kind of looks like a mirror, except for the fact that Zokker's MCV is moving towards C9's space, while C9 is moving upwards for his 3rd ref. So it looks like Zokker here is skipping the opportunity of expanding, and he'd rather push in, because he knows he's ahead now in PKs, and there's no barracks for C9, so unit-wise he's really ahead, and Zokker is choosing a really good engagement here, I think.
Yeah, he cleans up an Apollo, and this is very reminiscent of what Zokker did versus Yui, but Yui, I don't think he had the Peacekeepers in the base of Zokker taking out that airfield. That may force the deployment of the MCV just to rebuild that airfield for Zokker, which could be delaying the turret push.
Yeah, and I'm not really sure. You know, I think that Zokker was already planning on selling off his airfield and rebuild it, but it's really annoying because now there's no refueling his, fueling bombs into his Vindicator, and he's going to lose the Vindicator unless he saves a bomb inside it until he rebuilds his airfield. And
he has to be very careful with that.
I don't know how C9 is going to stop this now. I mean, he has a naval yard to finish off the PKs, but really, no turrets and anything, it's going to be really hard for him.
Yeah, if C9 had been able to get a single Javelin Trooper across the map, he could have dealt with some of the walls of Zokker. Actually, C9 may get some incredible crushes here. Drops down 2, 3 of those Peacekeepers. A 4th and a 5th do get eliminated from the Riptides. A nice cleanup crew here for C9, but he's got no Harvesters online in his main base. Only one at his 3rd, which isn't even online properly. Wait, is that bugged?
And no, it's not bugged. It was because he was calling all his collectors off the line to deal with the Peacekeepers. But right now, that collector, he has to redeploy it because he got no build radius. And he needs that build radius in order to deploy turrets. Because he knows right now he's facing a turret spam inside his main. And right now he can turret spam himself. But you see wisely, Zokker's using a single Javelin to lock that down before C9 can manage to make one. Turret, and Zokker and himself made a new racks to spam in more infantry to this expansion of C9, and C9 desperately trying to make units now.
Yep, there goes the build radius potential, and as you mentioned, C9, he's desperately trying to make units, but he's on that 2 refinery economy, and probably very soon to be on just 1 refinery economy, which is half of what Zokker has. And of course, from there, Zokker can start going for the crushes on this 3rd Harvester. Will he actually get it? He's getting very close.
And Zokker, he was trying to get a C9 2nd ref with 1 single Javelin, but that didn't happen. And C9's micro is just too good, but as long as he can actually keep this collector offline, it still gains him the... Whoa, what was that? That crush out of Zokker.
I missed it.
Wow, he crushed that while it was stopped inside the refinery. I didn't even know you could actually do that. That was absolutely insane.
So Zokker, he pretty much knocked C9 down to 1 refinery economy, and C9, he's getting 1 last load of ore out of that collector, and it may be better just to sell it off now to get a few credits back, even though it's not very much.
Yeah, and get that collector out of there so he can build a refinery somewhere else. Because right now he got no eco whatsoever, and I'm not sure if C9 even got the eco to actually build a new refinery, because he just spent all his money trying to make some desperate units out of those racks. And Zokker, he really got a good engagement.
Yeah, and with these dogs, there's now 2 dogs. Oh, locks down all of those Peacekeepers. The GG comes down. And C9 drops map number 2 versus Zokker, who played that out basically as well as he could, given what he was going for. It was just nice execution by Zokker.
Yeah, I mean, C9 probably didn't see that coming. I mean, wow. It's a pretty crazy push, but we know Zokker loved this. So.
All right, game number 3 takes us to Infinity Isle, and spawning as the blue allies on the left side, it is the man, the saltiest player in Red Alert 3. It's c9q9md.
And in the right side, from Team TNG, spawning as the Cyan allies, he is Zokker. And we're gonna see if he's gonna stop the salt this game, or what's gonna be going on.
Exactly, he could very well be stopping the Salt from taking over Red Alert 3, as TNG and NACL are both very new clans to the Red Alert 3 scene, and one is very salty, and the other one is very new and very next generation of sorts. But at any rate, we do have pretty much a barracks first mirror matchup on our hands, and the refinery from each player is getting established, so it's not anything very silly like naval yard after that, barracks before refinery, which I don't think ever happens, but maybe it does.
Oh, it does indeed.
Does it?
And another funny fact is that they actually both went for 1 racks. I mean, you see players like Zokker and C9, they love this infinite unit spam, and that didn't happen in this game. I mean, they're just doing the total standard with 10 peacekeepers, 2 docks, but Zokker was able to actually claim the first blood of one of C9's docks, so now he's going to get off this scouting information a lot earlier. And C9 is basically playing in the blind. This dock in the top side has to, yeah, it did. It had to win that dogfight because he needs that scouting, which he haven't had yet, and he doesn't know right now if Zokker is going to go for the water expansion or if he's got an MCV coming towards his base. So he wants to know where is his MCV at. But right now we see the D-scouts coming up here from Zokker trying to stop that. But C9 pushing in with his peacekeepers just see if there's a construction yard coming yet or no.
Yeah, so the third refinery timing of Zokker is a little bit behind that of C9, which cues him into one of a couple things. It means that it's delayed, but he doesn't know exactly why it's delayed. Now, we know why it's delayed, but of course C9, he never got that scout off. As you mentioned, the anti-scout coming out from Zokker, those dogs in the north were able to deny that, and now we see some very sneaky tactics coming up for Zokker. He's, of course, going to be pushing through the middle of the map because he cannot let C9 get eyes on this. And he has played this out really quite well.
Yeah, and Zokker did exactly what he planned to. I mean, he wanted to turret push, and he knew I have to build like twice as many docks as C9 to ensure there is no way he's going to see my MCV coming. Because if C9 sees this, there's no stopping it for C9. I mean, if he doesn't see it, there's no stopping it. But if he does see it, there is no getting there for Zokker. So, what just happened?
I guess we missed something. Did
yes.
Zokker lose all of his...
Nope, he didn't. I have no idea why he GG'd outright there. I thought they were quite even at the moment.
Alright then, so...
Indeed we are. And in the top side as the Cyan ally player, we do have from Team TNG, he is Zokker.
And as the player who with a cryo rush in the previous game was able to defeat Zokker with hardly any shots fired, it's from Team NACL, c9q9md.
That is absolutely right, and we're gonna be seeing now, I'm pretty curious to see if C9 is not gonna go dual racks, because right now, it doesn't seem like it, and...
I thought maybe he would wall in that power plant with something else and go for like some sort of crazy build, but no, it doesn't look like it.
And C9 is coming out with a haha because he claimed the first blood, and Zokker says he has hack detected. He just knew that doc was going to go there. No doubt. That's just the basic scouting path, so...
See, both of these players, they're so silly in chat. They just love the banter and kind of the playful talk like that, calling out hacks.
Yeah, saying they're playing naked and stuff.
Yep. Well, maybe they are. Maybe they really are playing naked. We don't know.
We don't know, and we don't want to know. Isn't that right? Or do we want to know?
No, I think I'm good without knowing.
All right.
But at any rate, we do have Zokker pushing down kind of the middle land bridge here, but he is going to be scouting that nothing's really exciting is happening. He will probably see that there's just one barracks, and he'll think like, maybe I have an opportunity because I did go dual racks and I gained kind of an infantry advantage early on. Maybe I'll have an advantage to go ahead and claim some extra kills.
Yeah, I think Zokker is going to immediately pick up on the fact that he's unit-wise ahead, and he has an option here to push, but meanwhile, he knows C9's dog is going to see this happening, so he might as well back off and then, you know, establish himself before he's doing anything stupid. Because if C9 has eyes on his MCV going, of course, C9 can start turret spam, and then there's no way for Zokker to approach him. So C9 moving in his MCVs to the middle, doing the standard thing with his airfield, trying to make some turrets here.
Indeed, and we may end up seeing Zokker just kind of take some damage on his peacekeepers, just like that. Actually, C9 does decide to kill off one of the peacekeepers, but nice bomb splitting regardless. Kills off one peacekeeper, and then, of course, the other peacekeeper goes down to very, very low HP. And other than that, both of these players, they've got that airfield, but it is going to be an Apollo first out of Zokker, and he does have his MCV on the center ridge, so we're going to be seeing the standard snowplow sort of allied play coming out from these players.
Yeah, exactly, and there is a key thing here. C9, he managed to get his MCV to the middle faster, and that means he gets the first turret out. And, I mean, Wolf the Wolf one time explained to me that it's pretty important to get the first turret, because that really means how much damage output you got early on in the game. And of course you both produce turrets at the same rate, but if you get the first turret out, your turret is going to do more damage in the long run.
Yeah, it's just like you gain that slight advantage, which over time can kind of snowball, because it's like if you get a 1-turn advantage and then you manage to keep your 1 turret alive, now you've got a 2-turret advantage. And I mean, as we're seeing here, the perfect placement there. C9 held that turret on the queue, just ready to build, but not placed down until he eliminated the turret of Zokker. And now Zokker, because he went for that Apollo first, his Vindicators were a little bit later, but he does now have those 2 Vindicators, so he can one-shot those turrets. Oh, there goes the Apollo. C9 cleans up the Apollo of Zokker, which is quite nice for C9.
Yeah, that's a lot of credits, and not only that, you know, of course, the biggest deal would be to lose a Vindicator at this stage, because 2 Vindicators can bomb 1 turret. And, no sell-off happening for Zokker, so a very good bombing there, and we're gonna see if C9 is gonna... He's gonna do the exact same thing. So, that was an even score. If C9 had sold off, it would have been better. But he's going for the power here, I think.
Oh
wow, that Peacekeeper tank.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Sectioning off some of these Peacekeepers. He's got enough to, let's see, 4-shot this power plant. That's quite a few Peacekeepers. 5-shot it, okay. So he cleans up the power plant. But yeah, he destroyed that power plant so quickly. He grabs the garrison, which will just help him to be so annoying. Great bomb splitting here by Zokker. Wow. He cleans up all of the weakened Peacekeepers first. Great control.
But really, C9 has set Zokker back a little bit, because going on low power means you have to sell off some buildings and some structures, and that's really annoying having to rebuild that. But I think Zokker did the best possible defense to that, even though that garrison is really annoying, because C9 can see everything that's going on with that single Peacekeeper. And he's going to really go aggressively for that, MCV, and he's actually aiming for the airfield or something. Whoa,
he needs to commit. He has to be very careful with these Peacekeepers. The sell-off does happen again. That multi-gunner turret getting so close to eliminated, but Zokker does get the sell. If C9 can snipe that power plant, that'll be a nice victory. And one thing that we did see a little bit earlier here, as we hit a minor lag spike there, is Zokker actually held some of the bombs in his Vindicators. So he threw a couple of bombs at the multi-gunner turret, and then he held some of them, and then killed off some of the Peacekeepers. Ooh.
Wow.
Hashtag shots fired as Zokker drops game number 3, or game number 4 rather. Games 1 and 2, pretty darn even in that we see Zokker with some very powerful play in both games. One he wins, the other he loses. Game number 3, the risky build from both players pays off big for C9. That cryo rush completely like the hardest counter for what Zokker was doing. Then, game number 5, or whatever, on game number 4.
Yes, game number 4.
On Snowplow. Gotta keep this straight. C9 takes it to a 3-1.